welcome to another episode of Javier in the Air. This week, once again, I was not able to get anybody in time, so it's just going to be me, beautiful me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about drones, and a little bit about beer, and then a little bit about the exciting thing that we did yesterday. Sit back and enjoy. I'm going to right now I'm going to show you my attempts at a drone. So it turns out I bought a drone probably almost 2 years ago now. Had a great idea, business idea. It turned out to not be such a great idea. But I bought this drone, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start trying to figure out how to use it. Well, I never did. So I brought it out one time and I charged it up and I turned it on. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I turned it on, and then I did nothing with it. So fast forward 2 years later, and once again I have decided to break out the drone and to actually do something with it. And now that I'm doing a podcast, I thought, what a great idea that I would be able to show some aerial views of certain things. I'll just go somewhere and do an aerial view and then talk about it and everything. But first, turns out you need to get used to flying such a device. For those of you who are not familiar with aircraft of any sort, and this basically does fall under the umbrella term of aircraft, you have to be able to figure out up and down, left and right, forward and back. So it's not like a car where you could just go, well, I'm already connected to a surface area, so I can go forward and back, left and right without a problem. When you move into the categories of aircraft and drones, and even if you're using those little mini micro drones that they have, you have to get used to a lot of variables that come into play. One is your drone going, uh, propellers going fast enough to be able to elevate it. Two, how is the wind outside? Three, do you have a clear enough area so that you can um, pilot this without crashing and burning, without breaking it, without doing all sorts of things? Now, if you have one of these mini drones, I don't know how susceptible they are to, uh, you know, falling from a certain height or anything like that. Now, the one I have is about this big, about that big. Four propellers on it. It does have a head to it, quote unquote head to it, that lets you know when you're driving it or flying it, which way is facing forward so that you can know forward and back, right and left, and be able and up, of course, and down, and be able to determine it. Size comes into play as far as what kind of drone you may want to look at. There are limitations now, legal limitations. If your drone is of a certain size, you're supposed to register it and all that nonsense, but I won't go into that. The fun part really is trying to get used to flying the friggin' drone. Um, Let me tell you something. For those of you who may not have tried it, don't try to learn on a windy day. It's horrible. Every time I keep going out there, the wind is actually pretty good. And so I have been really trying my best to not slam it into my truck, slam it into the ground, slam it into the tree, slam it into myself. We'll see how my adventures go. I'll do a little video of it probably every time. This one is a special episode where we're just talking about drones and a beer, and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna drop right now some video that I did. Hopefully, I can do music over it because it caught the audio, and there was really no reason. It was nothing of note on there of value as far as me saying anything. So I'm hoping I can just drop some audio over it. You can get a little idea of my progress. Now I didn't go very high. I also have some JPEGs that were taken from the drone as well. I didn't go very high because I'm just trying to get used to it, and until I get really used to it, and I maybe can find a non-windy day. Side note: when you have the wind going, um, you don't really know which way the wind is blowing after it gets to a certain height. It's kind of hard for you to figure out which way the wind is blowing when you're sitting down, touching the ground. You don't know because if it's coming around the corner, it's going to have a little whirl. If it's coming up your street or down your street, or it's blowing down, depending on where you're sitting, depending on where your drone is. Now, you may not feel the wind that much when you're sitting down, but 6 feet out and maybe 6 feet up, the wind is blowing in a different direction or blowing in a different way that you then now have to figure it out. So you're not just doing a joystick where you're kind of going like that. You have one like that, but which is on the as you're looking at me, this is my right here. So the right one does go left and right, forward and back. The left one, yeah, right one. The left one controls the speed of the propellers, which then gives you elevation. So you have to really start learning your agility and how your eye-hand coordination and how good you are. I've been keeping it low to the ground because I want to start trying to take it around the tree, take it up and down the street. I'm trying to keep it safe so that when I do something unsafe, it's hopefully well, it'll be my fault, but hopefully I can retrieve it. So I already had an adventure 2 weeks ago where I actually flew it into the neighbor's yard and they got stuck behind a potted plant and I couldn't get it out. So I had to actually, like a little kid who threw their ball over or who threw their frisbee over the yard, I had to go and knock on my neighbor's house and ask her if I could retrieve my drone. That was an interesting conversation, but she was nice enough to get me the drone, hand it back to me over the fence, and I went back about my day. So now the other thing too is you have to worry about power. So I purchased some additional batteries for the drone because the power goes pretty quick. Now if you're not only flying it, but you're using the camera or are using the camera for video or using the camera for shooting pictures, the power is not very long. So I'm seeing about 10 to 12 minutes of actual flying time for per battery. So luckily I bought a bunch of batteries in advance because I read the manual and it told me how long I would expect it to actually work. So it turns out pretty good. So I'll start showing some more videos as the year goes along, and hopefully I can start getting some really good high elevated shots. But I'm going to show you what I have right now, and when we'll come back, we'll talk a little bit more about drones, what's coming up, and then we'll go into some beer. Hey, and we're back. There was my first attempts with a camera showing my beautiful piloting skills. Han Solo, I am not. I'm just gonna get used to it. As you can see, I didn't get very high. I kept bumping into things. It was pretty windy out. Not, personally, human wise, when it wasn't that big of a deal wind wise, but when it comes to this little drone, well, not that little, but when it comes to this drone, which is very light because you need to keep it light in order for it to get in the elevation with the power that it has, you have to be concerned about the wind. So even a good drive-by car would cause enough wind for it to go all crazy, but luckily none of that happened. You saw I tried to stick it, maintain the yard, in the yard, and I hit a couple of trash cans, and then I hit my truck, and then I hit the ground, then I hit the rock formation around that I have around the tree, and then I hit the tree, or maybe you didn't see me hit the tree. That was my first attempt using the camera and some photos that I got from it. So I'm gonna be trying every couple of days, getting out there and trying to learn how to pilot it correctly, so that I can start getting some height, so that you can really see some shots of the neighborhood. Because what I like to do is just show some shots of the neighborhood. I'll try to be as discreet as possible. No craziness photos will be on there. I'm not trying to catch anybody doing anything. I'm simply just trying to add some more elements to my podcast. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Let's go now to what I can talk about before I get to the beer, which is kind of a different thing today. I went this weekend with some friends of mine, and we rented out a movie theater screen, I guess you would say, from Moviehouse and Eatery, which is not the Draft House. This is the Moviehouse and Eatery. This one happens to be on 620 heading towards 2222 from where I am. And they were gracious enough to allow me to rent a screen. They have the ability to do that. Check out their website if you want to see how you can do it. So I rented the screen, and you pick a movie. Now I think you can pick first run movies. I'm not sure. You'd have to check the website to see if it does or not. I didn't see anything of interest for us, but I did know that some of my friends and I, including the Pavlovskis, who are huge fans of it, we went and saw Pulp Fiction. So yes, if you haven't seen it, and surprisingly, about 5 of the 14 people that went had never seen Pulp Fiction. Of the other 9, there was probably 2 or 3 that had not seen it in the theater. So it was a huge win-win for the movie night. We got out there, we saw some Pulp Fiction. It was really good. Let me see if I have any video or pictures of that. So if if you didn't realize it, you can go and rent a movie theater screen, and you can go with some friends. This one was up to 20 individuals. We're still practicing social distance. We're still practicing mask restrictions. So we still had to wear our masks going into the theater, and then we wore, our mask except when we were eating. The waitress and her crew was fantastic. She just was on it. She was bringing us our drinks, bringing us our food. Now I like this as opposed to another place, initials AD, due to the fact that the menu is just a little bit better than it is over at the AD. I like the food a little bit better, greater selection. So there were some people the last time if you saw one of my earlier podcasts, we went to go see Clue, and that was at the AD, and there's less of a selection there. So it's a little bit more of a selection, definitely a more selection of alcohol, so you can get your drink on. I actually was getting my drink on drinking mimosas, which were on sale from noon to 3, and we went at noon yesterday, so it worked out really good for everybody, including myself, who was having mimosas. So if you have not had an opportunity and you want to take you and your friends go and you still want to practice some social distancing, I know some restrictions have been lifted, and I know people are still wearing their masks, and restaurants and businesses are still personally enforcing their mask mandates. Good for you. Thank you very much. And so, but if you want to do something a little bit different and you see us in the movie selection a movie that you really want, then go out there. I totally recommend it. I don't know if AD is doing it anymore because of their financial situation, so I don't even know. I think they're still open, but I'm not sure. But the Moviehouse and Eatery did very well for us yesterday. It was a great time. I think I have something. Let me see if I have any photos. I'll throw these up real quick. Hey, so we're doing another movie afternoon here. We're going to be watching Pulp Fiction. We're at the Movie House and Eatery, so we'll give a review and see how this worked out. All right, added in a little bit of music at the end there, and of course, as you saw, the Pavlovskis dressed up as Mia and Vincent. So I think you can tell that they may be lovers of this movie. In fact, like I said, if you look back at previous one of the podcasts that has to do with movies, that was one of Zaida's favorite movies of all time. So Pulp Fiction, if you haven't seen it, definitely go out and well, not go out, or you could go out to the movie house and rent it with some friends. If not, find it online, find a friend who has a copy, and watch it. It really is, in my opinion, what made Quentin Tarantino Quentin Tarantino. He did Reservoir Dogs before, and that was really good. But this one is the one that really put him on the I feel on the map, so to speak. And it had so many huge stars in it that were big already, and then some that went on to become even bigger that you may or may not have noticed on there. If you still haven't seen the movie, some of the well-known people on there: Harvey Keitel, Bruce Willis, Uma Thurman, John Travolta, of course, and Samuel L. Jackson. I think this is one of his MF and movie roles. One of the ones that made him a great star after this because of that particular role in there. You may notice a little Phil Lamar in there, who is a great voice actor, and he's the one who gets blown away in the car. And then Quentin Tarantino himself, who does okay. There's a reason why he's behind the camera, but you know, it's what was needed at the time, and it was done. It was a great film. So if you haven't had a chance, go out there, check it out, or find it online, or find it, on streaming somewhere, or find somebody who has a DVD copy, like I know the Pavlovskis do, and watch it. I'd love to hear your feedback on what's going on there. So, all right, so let's get into beer. I know, it's hard to believe it's that time of the show where it's time for beer time. And beer, I know I've been getting some feedback lately. Beer-ish, beer-like, not near beer because that's that garbage. Some of the things that I do here aren't necessarily what would people would consider a beer. Not even a craft beer, and I know the craft beer enthusiasts are probably like, yeah, that's not beer either. And that's okay. So, I like to use the umbrella term as beer when I first started doing the beer reviews, which was about 2 weeks ago, a year ago from 2 weeks from now, if you can figure that out, is when I started doing the beer reviews. And so, this one coming up will, not truly a beer, but will be, I'm going to consider it, and it will be like my 132nd or something beer review. So, for those of you who are true beer purists, which, by the way, if you're drinking Bud Light or Coors Light, I know I'm going to get some flack from probably from Beer TV about this. But if you're drinking that, I don't call you a purist. That's not. I don't really consider that a beer anymore. I drank it when I was a kid, but no, not gonna happen anymore. So, but you know what? Come fight me on it. You can come to my house in Cedar Park, and we'll have a beer and we'll have a drink off and see whose beer is better. Once again, here's something that would not be considered a beer by even the craft beer, and certainly not by the purists that I have fans of, or that are fans of my show, or just fall into my show because they're looking for something different. This is from Prairie Artisan Ales. This is their Moscow Mule. This is a Moscow Mule double hard seltzer. So again, right off the bat, people are going to say, well, it's not a beer because it's a seltzer, and it even tells you that on the can. And you know what? I'm okay with that because this is not always about necessarily about beer. As you've seen, we've done some whiskey tasting with my cousin, and we've done a panel before of different types of beer that a lot of people would not consider a beer, and some of them I don't even consider a beer, and that's saying a lot. And then I'll be coming up soon. I think we're gonna do another, maybe another whiskey type panel. So we'll see how that goes. If you're interested, and I know I had some people already tell me that they're interested, and I'll be adding them to the list. But if you're interested in joining my beer tasting panel or whatever panel that it is, be sure and reach out to me on my podcast. You can join my podcast, subscribe to it, or just search for it on YouTube or on Google or in YouTube. Either way, Javier in the Air. This is episode 10, by the way. So if you're searching for particular ones, I name them very. I hope I name them very quite well, and so that you can figure out which ones you want to watch. So I have covered a gamut of different topics. I will continue to do so. This week again, I wasn't able to get Elisa on. I hope I'm able to schedule her in for next week. So let's go to beer first before I do the whole housekeeping wrap up thing. So back to where I was. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. This is Moscow Mule, and you can see it's a cool little thing from Prairie Artisan Ales. This is their Moscow Mule. This is wow. They actually have calorie information on here. It's 220 calories. Well, there goes my plan for the day. I don't see. Oh, there it is. 8.7 ABV, which kind of makes sense because it is a Moscow Mule, and if you know what a Moscow Mule is, you'll know that this is what it is. It's got ginger soda and usually vodka in it and that sort of thing. So actually, I can get you the entire ingredients, but I probably won't. I might list it in the end, but if you're interested in it, once again, my great people out at the Boutique. If you're in the area, go and visit them. Tell them Javier sent you. You saw it on Javier in the Air. You won't get anything, but I think it's just cool that if you do that, I think that would be pretty cool. So I got this out at the Boutique. Thanks, Scott and Jana. I am opening this up now. We are going to take a look at it and see how it is. As it is for a hard seltzer, you will get a little bit of a head, not much. It will be quite bubbly though. See if I can fit it all in here. I can almost fit it all in here. I'm not going to try to squeeze it in there. There's the view again of the mule. So here it is. Looking good. It's got a copperish tinge to it. Which, by the way, I do have the copper Moscow Mule tins, that copper mugs that you should be drinking out of, but you can't see anything. So I wanted to show it. I wanted to show it this way. So let's take a drink. That is a Moscow Mule. You definitely have a little bit of citrus in there. Kind of instantly a lot of bubbles in there, a lot of carbonation. Not overly so, but it's definitely not your beer type thing, or the good beers, I should say. So Definitely has a Moscow Mule taste to it. If you don't know what a Moscow Mule tastes like, get one of these. Try it out. I believe Scott has it in the singles one, so when you go in there, you can have a single and just try it out, see if you like it. They do sell these in the 4 pack, so you can grab a 4 pack to go. Add this to your copper mug. Nobody's gonna know the difference that you didn't make one. I think this is good enough to go with that. So it's really good. It's good. It's good, strong finish. It's very strong. Um, excuse me, tasting wise, you see how that carbonation is already hitting me. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this 8 thumbs up. Uh, say hello out to the people at the boutique, so you can get it from them. And I think it's good. So here we come to the end of another short podcast. I'm trying to keep these relatively short. I know some of them are going to start getting long in the future, but I want to try to keep some of them as short as possible so that you can start getting used to watching Javier in the Air, or listening to it as you do your chores around the house, or however you do it. So the coming up next, like I said, I have scheduled for interviewing Elisa. She has a salon vibe, or vibe salon. I don't know which way she goes with that. I apologize for that, Elisa, or Alyssa. See, I probably got that wrong too, so it's probably Alyssa. Um, but she's going to talk to you a little bit about her business, how she got going in the business, and then also how she's been handling everything that's happened pre-COVID, COVID, post-COVID. Well, we haven't hit post-COVID yet, but post, the mandates and how that is affecting her, and whether she's still having people come in with masks, which I think she is. But we'll hear that from her as well next week. I'm always looking for new people to interview, so if you have a passion for just about anything, games, movies, and you want to be on a panel, or you want to talk about games or movies, and you have a particular game that you love to play, let me know. I'll play a game with you. We can play a game online and do it. I showed you doing us playing Moon, where Zyda shot it, and there's still some contention. That might be an asterisk game, because some people who have played were contending that. I think it was a great game. Zyda shot it. She had it. She did it. So we can show some other games as well. I'd like to get maybe a poker panel going as well, or a poker invite. Just a friendly, house game. There is no house, it's just everybody playing for their own, so it's a true just game of friends. You also have movies. I'm looking to get more people talk about movies again. I'll probably try to get another round of movie screening going out there again if I can find another movie that I have people interested in. So I hope you have been enjoying these. Please let me. I've been slowly beginning to get some feedback on my show and what people like and what people don't like. And so I'm beginning to get a little bit of that. And so I'd love to hear from you. Certainly love to have you on the show if you have something passionate that you want to talk again. Again, no politics, no religion. Everything else is up for grabs, and I will talk about just about everything else. So just hoping you enjoyed the show. You continue to enjoy the show. We're coming up. Excuse me, that Moscow Mule still getting me. We're coming up on the mid-March. Happy St. Patty's Day for you. I had a little homage to St. Patty's last week. We didn't get to do our beer panel, but hopefully we can do it again in a couple of weeks. St. Patty's may be a little bit better or different than last year. Really depends on what you do. Let me know if you do something crazy. Send me your photos. I'll get you on the air, and we'll go from there. So I hope everyone has a good upcoming week. You enjoy St. Patty's responsibly. If you're going to be out there, if you're at home, you don't have to be responsible. It's not up to me. You drink what you want. And I hope everyone will enjoy it. And I will talk to you again next week. Everybody take care. Thanks a lot.